Gather round, I'll pick up on our tale of 4 adventurers out blazing a new trail. With the chieftain free, it's time to make a stand against the great one and his transmutative plan. With zip lines, our boys get back to base and fight the monster in a battle face to face. But before their lives are brought to sudden end, our boys create the world's first rocket halfling man. Not something I ever thought I'd sing in this recap, but crit happens.
Ground team, who is still currently on the back of Florence after he did some crazy maneuvers to not get totally engulfed by a slime tidal wave. And, yeah, you guys, like I said, you guys are still on the top of your magical monster cart, and below you sits this maybe inch or so thick, just puddle of gray ooze, none of which is trying to take shape, by the way. Like, I'm sure you guys watch this for a good few seconds just to see if something comes out from it, but no, it's just kind of a still ocean of gray.
Wait a second.
You don't get to talk, you're still rocketing into space.
No, this is the thought. You said Florence is magical, so why did the ooze eat him?
That's not an answer.
Listen, it doesn't necessarily mean that the components of Florence are magical, just that he innately himself, being given life, is magic in itself. Look, listen, you guys are on the back of a magic monster cart and the ooze just exploded. What do you do?
Well, I'm
not you, Kevin.
I tried.
Is the ooze still corroding metal? Like,
yeah, I am. Wait till you come back down to the surface. So no,
Svein's gonna look around, make sure everyone is accounted for.
Okay, so yes, Svein, you kind of take a head count. You see Lobe and Lannon managed to grab a railing before, crazy barrel rolls happened. Ears also is still on top with you guys. Looks a little green around the gills, but she's okay. If I remember correctly, too, Lobe, before, Rocket Halfling was invented, you had said that you set out a healing wave, correct?
Yeah, so everyone can be up to half.
Okay, so everyone, real quick, let's do that, just so we don't forget.
Mm-hmm.
And that, I guess, then includes Ears, who did have a nice, nasty gash across her chest from the encounter with the Slimera, but now that is mostly healed. It's just sort of torn up robes at this point. And she stands to her feet, and she looks at you guys, and she looks up at the sky, and she's like, huh. I guess that's one way to take care of a situation. Is he gonna come back down, guys?
That's a good question.
Yeah.
I don't know. He hasn't done this before.
Okay, I haven't done this before either, so this is new.
Well, I guess we'll find out.
I guess. And she makes her way, again, sort of shakily over to you three, and she says, "What, is everybody okay for the most part? Like, is everyone alright?"
I think so.
All body parts present and accounted for?
I believe so, yes.
Lannon pats his entire body and he's like, yeah, I'm fine.
Real quick question about healing. So when we get healed up to half, if we were below our max HP, we would go up to the halfway point and stop there? Is that how that works?
That spell only goes up to half of whatever your health was.
Okay.
And if you're already over half, then you don't get anything.
Yeah.
Okay.
But wait,
that's
what about
what I thought.
Are we talking level 4 max health or level 5 max health?
I think when you hit level anyway, you just kind of cap off. So
Yeah.
everyone should be good.
Yeah, y'all are fine. Don't worry about it. So at that mention too, you hear the stone around Ears' neck perk up again, and you hear Winslow say, "Oh yeah, no, I'm fine too. Don't worry about it. It's cool in here. No worries."
We weren't worried about you.
Huh?
You're protected by a magical cart beast. You're fine.
Yeah, actually, on that note, Winslow, where the heck hell did you learn to drive like that? Like, you just taking secret lessons when Elise and I were out? Like, what the hell? And,
That is a good question.
You hear Winslow say, Did you seriously think the whole time we were a group that the cart just went on its own? Like, when you and Elise went out to track a lead, Florence just followed you? Like, on his own volition. And you kind of watch Iris' face screw up for a second, and she says, we should probably go check on that whole, goo situation. You guys said there was, like, another seed or something in the slime. Let's go check out that. Winslow, you say in there. We're gonna go check it out. And, you watch Iris start, like, hop over the railing as she starts climbing down the side of Lawrence.
Oh, so now she can hold on to the sides.
I mean, significantly easier when it's not bounding around like a circus monkey.
Don't go
I guess
for it.
follow after.
Lannon follows suit.
Yeah, everyone follows suit.
Yeah, Svein's gonna go down, but he's gonna be very careful. He's already fallen a couple times. Don't need to fall again.
My goodness, that last session, just nothing but Svein falling.
I know. Tumbled dwarf.
Okay, so you guys climb down the side of Florence. Again, significantly easier now that it's not bouncing around like a crazy person. Florence, like, Winslow himself sort of helps you guys out. Like, if he sees one of you slipping, he raises one of the arms and kind of pushes you back on track. And, while you guys are climbing down, I do want to mention this real quick. Between Svein, Lannon, and Kennam, even though Kennam is still, again, like, in the stratosphere or something, I did want to give you guys a fun inspiration point for that, because I legit was not expecting you to, like, headshot my slime boss monster.
Boom! Headshot.
Yeah. Here's how this one's gonna work. You have to share it between the three of you. Like, I'm not gonna each give you one, so you have one inspiration point to share between the three of you. And we'll see how that.
When the time comes, we will know when to use that.
I hope. Hopefully. So you guys make your way down, again, the side of Florence, plopping into the now thoroughly squishy ground.
Ugh.
But, like I said, the ooze doesn't make any sort of movement or attack. It's almost like once the large sapling was taken out of the core, just everything fell apart like one giant hive mind. So that's fun. And it's just a bunch of gooby goo on the floor. No more sapling to kind of manipulate its giant girthy mass. Yeah, but so you guys are now feet on the ground. Again, this kind of squishy ground. And about 20 or so feet ahead of you, kind of in front of you, is this large collection of plant mass. It kind of looks like a bunch of vines and grass twisted together to make a nest of sorts. And on top of this sort of probably 10 by 10 nest, you can see the image of Vin, who is, again, still standing over his own seat of consciousness. And next to him, you see Kennam's still unconscious body.
Okay.
Well, there's Kennam, so that's good.
At least
Hello,
he's still
friends!
And Lobe charges ahead.
Glad you could make it.
Okay, so Lobe, you approach Vin, and you see sort of the mass of plant growth lower a bit so Vin can come down and see you face to face. And then, again, he kind of extends a hand for a sort of partial hug. He says, yes, I'm glad to see you're all right too, but what happened?
I think we're still trying to figure that out.
No,
But
guys,
I think we won.
We made a halfling fly, and Lannon points up to the sky.
Vin kind of follows your point up to the sky, and he says, yeah, the halfling, look, I'm sorry, I'm a little taken aback. I was sort of hoping that we could have. He seems a little confused. Like, yeah, he wasn't exactly expecting this half this giant ooze and just like kidnap the brain from this hive mind. And he takes a second to compose himself. He says, "Well, I mean, the city is safe, so thank you for holding up your end of the agreement."
No problem.
Not a problem.
It's our
And,
pleasure.
And before Vin can say anything else, you hear a couple people behind you. "What the holy hell is that?" And you watch as Ears sort of stomps through this marshy, grassy mess, and she comes up to you guys, and she is pointing not necessarily at Vin, but Vin's seed.
Lannon looks down. Just following her point.
That's a good question for Vinny here.
Okay, no, I'm... okay, let me introduce myself real quick. Hi, Vin? Is that what you called yourself? I'm Ears, kind of the regional expert on that thing right there. She points against the seat, and she says, "I'm just a little curious here. What sort of powers do you possess? I mean, not to be super blunt, I realize you're sort of dead now. Apologies for that. Wish we could have sooner. But, yeah, did you, like, have any special abilities when you were still alive? Just curious." And Ben says, "Well, not to this extent." And you see him wave a hand, and a bunch of the vines and the grass sort of follow his movement. And he says, This is definitely new. I didn't exactly have this sort of ability." And you see Iris nod, and she says, "Yeah, that's super interesting. Could you just hold on for like 2 seconds? We gotta do a little huddle up here." And she's looking at all three of you and just you like, "Get over here now."
Lannon shuffles over.
Svein, he wanders over.
Okay, we're just gonna all have different verbs for walking over to you then.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Couldn't think of a good
I'll
one.
walk over and hunch down.
There we go. And as you are sort of in this football huddle thing, you can tell that Iris is super not thrilled by whatever situation this is. And she says to you all in a very hushed, angry whisper, "Okay, so who was going to tell me that his state of consciousness was green? Was anyone going to tell me that before all this happened?"
Well, he did help protect us.
"Okay, that's fine, great, but you guys saw this earlier. Did you maybe want to tell me it was green?"
I mean, after we defeated this giant slime monster, yeah.
Yes. There's a lot of things going on, you know. We're just trying to take care of everything in turn. You know, make sure Kennam's okay.
Oh,
Make
God.
sure Vin's okay. Tell you about the green seed.
Okay, here's my next question. Is the sapling that we also green?
Maybe? Could
That's
we,
a good question for Kennam.
It is.
That said,
Perhaps
can
when
Kennam actually see this seed while he's in the air?
I was gonna say, like, smashed up, cut to Kennam, suddenly sneezing, being like, "I think people are talking about me."
No, serious question though. Kennam can see this. Is it green?
Yeah, no, like, again, like, literally, though, quick, Kennam. At this point, you have started sort of slowly drifting out of your rocket ascent, and, yeah, what you are holding in your hand, albeit still sort of partially covered in slimy, gray, goopy grossness, is indeed a green sapling. Still kind of furiously whispering, by the way. I just want to mention, like, now you're in proximity to this thing, there's a lot of angry voices kind of going off every, like, 3 seconds or so. And it's the same sort of angry whispering you heard earlier climbing up the spine when you were talking with Vin.
Well, that's
Just-
not nice.
Yeah, just sort of the same general consensus of "this sucks, let us free."
Kennam's just gonna take a look at this thing and just go, "Hi guys." Give him a little wave.
I mean,
Well,
you
hey
hear,
there, Kennam.
yeah. I think he's talking about the sapling.
Yeah, he's talking to the sapling.
You hear a couple voices say hi, but it's still the general angry consensus of voices.
Well, that's no way to greet a guest.
So Kev, here's my question. You are, pretty gosh darn high in the air, but your team at this point are little tiny specks, and the city itself is sort of like this tiny speck. And are you just letting gravity take its course and slowly drifting down, or are you sort of making some effort to get down faster? Like, what are you up to?
I'm in no hurry. I want to have a chat with the seedling.
Okay. All right, that's cool.
They seem pretty chatty.
Oh yeah, they're super chatty. Really pissed, but super chatty. So are you, what else are you gonna say to this thing then? Because like I said, it is a very, confusing swirl of different voices and requests and outbursts and cries of pain that has definitely become way more incoherent now that you're super close to this.
Alright, guys. We're seriously going to have to speak one at a time, or I'm not going to be able to help you.
They don't seem to really pick up on your request, and so my assumption now is you're just going to keep trying to talk to them as you drift down slowly like a goose feather. Okay, so you keep trying to sort of attempt that. Meanwhile, back down in the football huddle, Ear seems to be getting more and more agitated the more you guys are talking, and it finally comes to the point where she says, Okay. Listen, this is gonna sound crazy. How exactly was Vin when you guys told him we had to take the sapling in order to make a new world tree? Was there a certain reaction to that?
Generally not happy.
I don't think we said anything about it, actually.
I don't think we brought that up.
Well, I would assume he's not happy.
I don't think we quite got around to that part.
Oh.
Again, there were a lot of things happening.
Yeah, there's a lot more things happening now. And you see her pinching the bridge of her nose. She's, okay. I need you guys to go back to Vin. I need you to explain the situation to him. And I need you to properly convince him that we need to take the sapling with us. And this is really important because it kind of sounds like he wants to keep it for himself. And look, I'm going to be honest with you. I've never seen this before. There's been 4 colors I've been working in for about a couple decades now. Green is a new color to me. So...
Really? I mean, the trees over there are green.
Are you just colorblind?
Okay.
Does that mean if I'm green, you can't see me?
No, it's not. I don't mean I literally can't see the color green. I mean, of my adventures with these saplings so far, I've never seen a green one.
I see.
So it's really important, really, really important that we can get this sapling so I can figure out why it's green. And she kind of...
And if he doesn't want to give it to us, should we just take it and run?
She looks over at Vin, who is very patiently waiting for you to sort of reconvene with him, and she says, you do what you have to do, okay? I'm gonna go back to Florence, because if this goes south, I'd rather not be caught in this crossfire. And, look, no offense, but you kind of saw me with that whole encounter on top of the Florence. I am not going to help you out in the slightest.
Fair.
Okay.
Fair enough.
So, we're all on the same page here, right? Like,
Convince him to give us the sapling.
Yes.
Yes, we understand what we need to do.
At any cost. Okay? Any cost.
Yes, we don't want him getting his hands on it.
She actually looks over at you, Lobe, and she holds a kind of a stare with you for a couple seconds, and she says, Lobe, any cost.
Well, I don't have a lot of money, but I'll ask him. Hey, Vinny!
Okay, y'all have fun with that, and she just, like, starts fast walking to Florence, like, the minute Lobe starts back to Vinny. And, Vinny says, are you done with your conversation, then?
I think so. Hey, can you help us?
Well, you've helped me quite a bit, so I don't see why not. I'm still sort of waiting for your friend, Kennam, to come back down from space. So...
Us too. So, apparently, we need to have the seed to save the world. Can you help us?
Well, we need the sapling.
Oh, yeah, that thing.
And,
Roll persuasion.
yeah. Oh, fun fact, audience, we all have dice now, so that's super exciting.
I'm still using the thing.
Oh,
So
well,
I'll find
okay.
mine.
Well, I'm gonna use dice then.
I'm gonna use
Yeah,
dice.
Use dice.
I finally received dice.
Yeah, so if you hear clitter clatters of dice, I hope it brings you much anxiety.
Mux.
It makes you talk
Mux.
properly. Goddamn.
You mux.
But yeah, go ahead and roll me that persuasions.
All right. Oh, nice. So I rolled a 4 plus
I rolled
7.
13.
So I got an 11.
Okay, so 11 and 13, interesting. Lannon, you gonna help in this endeavor, or you're just gonna see how this plays out?
Yeah, I'll help.
Okay.
Yeah, come on, work a
I
different angle.
got 20 total.
Oh, Jesus. Okay, so Svein, what do you kind of say to back Lobe up on his we need the seed conversation?
It's something that's very, very important to the safety of the world, to make sure that nobody else gets hurt.
Okay. And Lannon, you have anything to add to this?
Listen, mate. We know what happened to you and your people was horrible, but if we don't use the sapling to prevent anything else like this, it will happen again and again and again, and I don't think that's something any of us would want.
Vin is quiet for a second. You sort of see some of his plants shifting about a bit, a little twitchy, like maybe Lobe's thing, like first bit made him a little angry, and then you all sort of followed up with your things.
Oh, but we were such good friends.
Yeah, well, you know, like still safe this relationship. But he finally says, you're right. I don't want this to happen again to anybody, but you have to understand, like, this, and he gestures sort of to his spiritual self. He's like, this isn't peace. I just went from one state of being to another. And even now, like, I still hear them. As far up as they are, I still hear my people. They still want peace themselves. So, I mean, can you promise me that if you take this seed, this sapling with you, that you'll put my people to rest?
Maybe.
You have my word.
Oh god.
Yes, Lobe has given his word.
Sure.
I don't know if that's another persuasion or if that's just you lying because you have no idea.
I mean, if he believes it, then it's not a lie.
Yeah, does he
Exactly.
believe it to be true?
In his heart of hearts.
Okay. As much of a beautiful sentiment as that is, Lobe, roll me a lying check, even though you believe it in your heart of hearts. You have no information to back this up. It's an
Lobe
instant.
ever done-
I have all the intention to do that.
Hold on.
Yeah.
When has Lobe ever needed extra information to go on to say something? Until
Also
now?
true.
Okay, you know what? That's a fair point. All right, let's see how.
But here, I'll throw a persuasion into it.
Okay.
Ooh, yeah.
Oh, no.
We're the only ones who see it, so it never exists.
Yeah. There's not a 1 there. Trust me.
I got a 4.
Okay. So Vin actually comes over to you, Lobe, like his plant nest sort of shifts into a path. And you guys are now sort of staring eye to eye. And he takes your hand, and even though he is sort of this incorporeal, spirity form, this is a very strong sort of hand grip he has on you. And he is looking straight into your eyes, and he says, "Can you promise that? On whatever god or goddess you worship, can you promise to me that my people will be put at rest?"
I will do everything in my power.
Roll me persuasion.
Okay.
God, a hush falls
Oh,
upon the
no.
audience.
No.
Hey, 20.
Is that a nat 20? Is that
No.
our first nat? Oh. I got too excited. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So, it's another sort of like tense moment between you and Vin. But after a minute, he does let go. And he says, "I suppose if men of cloth can't even keep their word, there's no point in believing anything anymore, is there?" And Lobe, you actually see as he let go of your hand, this vine, this very small kind of creeping ivy, wound its way around your wrist. And Vin says, "When it happens, my friend, I would very much appreciate you letting me know. And when that time comes, you'll know how that will be taken care of." Any sort of gestures to the vine.
Later.
Well, do you want to just come with us?
No!
Wow, that was a resounding no, huh?
I'm sure Vin is very busy here. And
dead
we
and all
must
that.
go soon, so...
Just so we know, that wasn't Lannon saying no.
I mean, everything you say is canon. So what if that was?
No! That was not. I'm gonna have to lower the volume on that one.
Well, I mean, okay, I'll reason with you here. Smiles and he shakes his head and he says, "To tell the truth, I don't think your friend can keep this form active forever." And he gestures over to Kennam's body, where you actually all kind of notice that amulet that's around his neck is going fucking haywire right now. Like, there are sparks going off in every which direction.
Oh, did someone break it? Uh-oh.
Potential possibility. And he says, "No, once your friend comes down here, I think I'll take my leave." And he looks to you all and he says, I want to thank you again, though. Didn't quite go the way I wanted to, but nobody expects to die quite in this circumstance." And he laughs a little bit.
I give a good hearty chuckle.
Very true.
And at this point, Kennam, you're about halfway down. You can sort of see a better outline of your friends. And hey, you know what? Nobody's fighting, so they must have done something right.
Can I roll persuasion to, like, befriend the seed sapling thing?
Sure.
I mean, if I can talk to it, then...
Kinda what you did
18
earlier,
plus,
though.
5 persuasion, so that is 23.
What are you sort of saying to it? I mean, you had a lot of time, I guess.
Yeah, just over the course of it, just kind of talking to it, trying to be friends.
Okay. Well, I'll say
You
this.
befriended a plant!
It's a magical plant.
Yeah!
It is a
Not
magical
quite the
plant capable of speech.
Well, I mean, you've heard the voices yourself.
Yeah, but Kennam might just be crazy!
Yeah, that's true too. I'll say this, Kennam, as you sort of had mostly one-sided conversation with this plant as you have drifted down from the stratosphere, it does seem that the voices have grown a little softer in cadence there's not as many screams or shouts or angry ramblings. It's definitely sort of fallen a bit more peaceful now. And as you still have quite a ways to go from the ground, you actually do see sort of this growing stalk reach up, and it's next to you, and it sort of indicates for you to grab hold of the top of it.
Yeah, sure. I'll grab it.
Okay. And you do so, and you, for the second time, turn into the rocket halfling as you cross the ground. And you see that this vine was sort of like over your body, so as it pulls back into the ground, your soul collides with your body. And
Head rush.
yeah, I'm sure that's a weird experience. A little dazing, a little losing yourself, like, oh god, where's my body now? But you do wake up, and you're looking up at the sky, and you can feel things again. Like, you feel the air sort of rolling across your body, you can feel the sun beating down, and the nest you're on isn't exactly the most comfortable thing in the world, so... But officially, Kennam, you are now back in your body. You're back in your body.
Okay. Kennam's gonna, like, point one finger into the air and go, I'm okay. And he's gonna drop it back down.
Okay. And you see the sapling kind of free fell for a little bit there, because once your spirit collided with your body again, there wasn't anything holding onto it, so it sort of starts to roll off back into the ooze pit, and you actually see some of the ooze kind of reaching for it, like, yes!
Grabbing it.
Who's grabbing it?
All of us.
Yeah, everybody.
Everybody do the dexterities.
Here comes the dexterity.
Nat 20!
I don't even need to roll. All right.
All done. Oh, well, that's good, because I rolled a 7.
Okay, that is good. So basically, this sapling sort of teeters over, and you all go for it, and you see Kennam. I almost did it, but you see Kennam like suddenly sit bolt upright, roll off the side, and like on one knee catch this thing, and he's like, "Yeah."
I've had to catch children before.
Good show!
Just like any fatherly figure.
He's been around children enough to know when to catch something.
Are you saying you've let a couple kids roll off like the side of something? Like now?
They could have
Have to
fallen out
remember
of
to
trees.
get them next time.
I'm sure some of them have jumped up onto the roof.
Oh my god, that's an image.
Oh my god.
Okay, so as you go to grab this, I actually need you to roll me another will save, but do it with advantage, because as you went to grab this, you sort of see a bunch of the grass of the vine trying to make like a barrier between your hand and the sapling. So roll me a will save, but do it with advantage.
Alright. Good, because the first one was a 2. And the next one, what is that, a 6 or a 9?
That's a 6.
6 plus my 4, so it's a 10.
Okay. So you... Just for like a split second, you sort of feel something pull from your chest, as if your own seed sort of wanted to merge with this giant sapling, and it settles back down, and you get a very thick weaving of vine and plant mesh between you and the sapling. And you hear Vin say, "Okay, that would have been bad, but I'm glad that worked out." So you see like his hand was slightly extended, and he pulls it back.
Okay. He's gonna hold the sapling up and go, okay, we saved the day. Let's go take a nap.
Whew. We've earned it.
I could use some dinner.
You could always use some dinner.
You guys haven't eaten in like, maybe encroaching close to like 14 hours, so I'm amazed any of you can still function.
Well, you usually don't have too much of an appetite when you're inside of a ginormous creature,
That's fair.
in my experience.
And and before you guys go, Vin actually says, if you could do one more thing though.
What up?
Yes, what is it?
Soup.
And he points to the amulet around Kennam's neck, and he says, if you could maybe, this is a little more exhausting than I thought it was going to be. you could.
You cut out.
No, I didn't. That was just him trailing off.
I mean, I kind of figured it was supposed to deactivate already.
Getting there, you sort of, again, it's sort of like spazzing out a bit. It's not sparking as heavily as it was, but you do see it's sort of a little strained, having some issues functioning properly.
Can I, like, put it in my water skin to cool it off?
I mean, you can, if that's how you want to do it.
Well, I mean, is it, like, hot? Is it running hot? Is that the problem?
A little. It's got some magical heat to it. So yeah, if you want to just throw it in your water skin.
Yeah, Ken, I'm just gonna throw it in and go, I have no idea how to turn this off.
Okay, so like one-handed Kennam somehow uncorks skin, takes off the amulet, and puts it in, huh?
Listen. I can be good.
I just want like this mental picture painted. Like in one hand, this all godly, mighty, powerful sapling, and you're fumbling around like someone who's trying to open a door to an office. I just want to get my mental picture clear.
Yeah, I mean... Yeah.
Alright, that's fine. You managed to pull this really silly thing off. And as sort of the water makes contact, the amulet hisses, and it starts to cool off a bit, and you can see Vin's image start to flicker. And he says, oh, I guess actually one of you should pick up this... What do you call this? Anyway, and he's pointing down to the seed still sort of encased in these viney nests, which, by the way, this viney nest is starting to come apart a bit.
Usually we call them chestnuts. That one looks like a grapefruit.
And he laughs and he says, well, I would very much appreciate not getting possessed again by, this ilk. And he's looking down at the gray ooze. He's like, so if one of you could, grab...
Lannon can grab it.
Okay, cool. So Lannon grabs it. And, you kind of scoop up the grapefruit-sized seed, and just as you do, Vin's image sputters out completely, and the vines sort of flop back to the ground. Some of them even like shrivel up and die, and you see the ooze that was sort of reaching for it flop back to the ground as well. And Lannon, you now have this fist-sized green seed in your hand, and you feel absolutely nothing.
Putting that in my pocket.
Massive.
How big are your pockets?
Do you know how deep dudes' pockets are?
No!
We could fit like 2 iPads in there, alright?
Okay,
Some
fair
of them.
enough.
Some of them.
Very true. Do
Okay,
you have pants of holding?
I guess so.
We need pads of holding now.
Yeah. Cargo pants of holding.
And as all this transpires between you guys, you
Jorts of holding.
you feel the ground shake a bit, and you see Florence coming up to you guys, and Ears is standing in the doorway, and she's like, okay, that went better than I thought. What did you say to him?
Hi.
Oh, Kennam, it's so great to have you back in your body. Wit is as sharp as ever. But,
Help find peace for his people.
peace for... What exactly does that entail?
Don't worry about it.
No, super worried about it. I mean, he... Okay, we'll worry about it later.
He
Good talk.
just wanted to know that his people would be okay and be at peace at some point.
Oh, at some point?
We'll cross that bridge when we come.
Yeah, no, we'll, at some point, definitely, work on that. Okay, so again, super proud of you guys. You actually did really great. Pats on the back if I had time to, but, we just gotta deal with one more situation here.
Well,
And, she points to this city where you see, this group of riders approaching, and she says, I don't want to alarm anybody, but I'm pretty sure the city just watched entire ooze monster just dissipate before them. So we're gonna have a fun story to tell the citizens of Azu Deal. That's for sure. Holy shit.
Hey, we just saved their asses. They shouldn't be fighting us.
We just say hi.
Hopefully they'll have some food.
Yes. Just let them know that everything is under control and that it's better now.
Okay, well, you make that sound super easy. But yeah, so you guys have like this herd of riders coming at you. You can do with that what you will. They will be upon your booty soon. If you want to like prepare a story or.
Kennam's gonna walk over to Svein and go, could you hold this sapling? It seems to like me too much.
Okay, sure.
Alright, so you guys exchange goods, I suppose, and good timing, because at this point that little viney mat dissipates into a dead mat of grass and stuff. And Svein, you are now in like physical giant green sapling, and similar to Lannon, you don't have any particular reaction to it.
Yay.
And
we're not
Okay.
nature-like.
Well, that's good.
yeah.
A little less worrisome.
So here's what I really want to know: is it going to help Ears try and explain what the hell just happened, or y'all are just like?
No, we're gonna help. All right, let's see.
I mean,
Svein
Lobe's
can
just
come
gonna
up
tell
with
the
a story.
truth.
Yeah.
Everyone's
There was
just
a-
gonna tell you.
Okay, we'll tell them that there was a giant ooze, and it was on the loose, but we defeated it.
On a moose.
Yeah.
I mean, it's true.
Sounds good.
It's what happened, and
I mean,
they saw it happen. So how can they argue with that?
Of sound logic. My main question is: are you guys just gonna like greet this herd with this giant ethereal-looking sapling thing, and also a grapefruit-sized seed thing,
Hey,
or?
the seed's in my pocket.
No,
Okay, fair.
nope. No, I'm gonna stick whatever the sapling in my pocket.
Okay, no, guys, we can't just shove everything in.
No, sapling goes in Florence. Seed is
Okay.
in my pocket.
Okay.
Wait, is
I'm-
Florence
I'm-
still a giant mechanical monster?
I mean, to you guys, yeah.
Yeah,
But
but they don't know it.
I was gonna say, as these riders approach, they sort of just ignore that fact. Almost as if they can't see it at all.
She really needs to
Or it just looks like an inconspicuous cart.
No, they all see it. They're just pretending that they don't.
So who's helping Ears then with telling the story? And...
Svein's gonna help.
I can
Okay.
help.
Okay.
Lobe will be more than happy to help.
Okay, cool. Meanwhile, Lannon's like, I'm just gonna get this the fuck on the ship. Nobody worry.
Yeah, don't worry about it.
Okay. So you guys spend quite an interesting 10 or 15 minutes with this armada, which turns out to be rather colorfully dressed orcs and a handful of Goliath here and there. Many of them are, I wouldn't say that they're wearing necessarily armor per se, but it's definitely impressive looking garb. You know that they mean business, and as you're explaining this story, they do seem to at least believe most of it. I mean, again, to your credit, they did just see an entire ooze come at them and then vanish. So that's a fun story to recount. They actually offer to escort you sort of inside the city to talk with their head, sort of their leader.
Their
Let
chieftain?
them. Yeah, well, you know, whatever's higher. I feel like there's something higher than a chieftain. Like a tribe
Their leader.
master.
Elder?
Yeah, their leader. That's what I said.
Take me to your leader.
Pretty much. So, with that, you guys. Well, I guess you guys get back into Florence, which again still just sort of looks like this inconspicuous car, and you are escorted by this entourage into the city of Azu Deal, which means pretty much just saved the day, guys.
Da 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 da.
Ba, 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 ba,
Ba,
ba,
ba,
ba, ba.
So, good job, because that actually ended much better than I thought. I legit was thinking we could potentially have another fight on our hands, but you
Not yet.
diplomaed yourself out of that situation. Excellent job.
Well, now we haven't gotten to the bar yet, so there could still be a fight involving Lobe.
All right.
We
that's
haven't
fair.
burned down our first
Guys,
tavern yet.
Guys, if you get into a fight, just remember, I cast Charm Person.
Always.
So as you guys slowly make your way back to the city, because, well, horses are not as fast as Florence, and he kind of has to go at a snail's pace, just so, at least to the Orc and Goliath riders, it doesn't look like this tiny, teeny cart is just rocketing ahead with no rhyme or reason.
Oh yeah, do we have something pushing this cart? Or, like, looking like it's pushing this cart?
Not particularly.
Oh, shit. Can we make it Kevin?
We'll just tell him that it's rolling downhill.
Yeah.
Can we, like, buff up Kevin before we go?
You could. Ears makes the suggestion of just saying that the cart broke and have them tow it, quote unquote, with some rope. So
Okay.
that's sort of the situation right now. So just to paint the scene here, you have like these 10 or 11 horseback riding orcs and Goliaths, one of which has a rope. Probably one or two have a rope tied off to what they think is just this tiny little gypsy cart, when in reality it's like tied to one of Florence's like knobs on his arm. He's just like slowly making his way, trying to keep this facade up. And
Good job, Florence.
yeah. At this point, Winslow's actually still driving the cart because Ears wanted to have further conversations with you. She takes you over to the kitchen area because, as Lobe has said many a time, you haven't eaten.
Time to eat.
You could definitely go for some lunch. And so she,
Thank God.
yeah, so she's making you guys some stuff. What do you guys feel like for lunch? She said she'll make you anything at this point.
Anything that isn't Lannon.
Yeah.
Yes.
Listen
No,
here, you
that's
little shit.
Oh dear.
No,
Let's
listen.
have some corn pones.
Oh my god.
Corn bones.
Okay, fine. She makes you some fucking corpones and like stew or something. And
Ooh, isn't stew what we were eating when we got attacked by the slime? Let's not do stew.
no, listen, that was just a hot mess that Lannon made. My stew is like an actual stew, so don't worry about it.
Svein is glad that none of the blame is on him for fetching that water that helped cause that problem. He's glad that people have forgotten about that.
Listen, it's just Lannon. Lannon just can't cook.
And see. No, so you guys have your stew and corn pones, and you're all sitting at the kitchen table, and Iris is actually being fairly patient. She is waiting for you guys to sort of finish off a majority of your lunch, or I guess in Lobe's case, the multiple seconds and thirds and fourths of his lunch.
Yes.
Safe bet, okay. But eventually, sort of, the consumption of food dies down, and she says, okay, well, now that a bunch of crazy shit's not happening, I actually do want to take a minute and congratulate you guys, because that could have gone really bad, and
it turned out really awesome.
yeah, I'm serious, like, I'm really proud.
I
really
became an
proud of you guys.
astronaut.
I don't even know what that is, Kennam, but it makes you feel special.
I invented it.
I got to make an elevator.
Yeah,
That
you
was fun.
take your word for it.
It was great. But none of us died, so yes. Very happy for one of us.
Yeah, we actually managed to save a city population this time, so we can mark that in the record book. Sorry, Lannon, don't know if that's too soon or not, but
Lannon's
I'm just
not
coming
happy,
up to
but
eat.
you know, Lannon's
Well-
not happy, but he'll just go along with it.
Hopefully, at the end of our journey, we will have saved more places than we destroyed. So.
Right.
We're 1 for 1 now, so
We might be batting even.
So, okay, this is, whoa. Careful with your corn bones there, guys. They hit the ground like bricks.
We need a chisel to eat them with.
Well, you know what? I'm not a baker, okay? Fucking, I never even heard of corn bones until you brought it up, Svein.
Well, we're just happy to have the food. Thank you, Ears.
Yeah. Okay, so when we get in the city, I will handle talking to the leader, okay? Okay, well, that was easy.
I'll explain that craziness. Yeah, go for it.
Okay. While I'm talking to their leader, we're going to hopefully find somebody who can fix Lawrence up a bit, because in the state of being he's in right now, we are not going to make it another 20 miles or so without him breaking down. So, you see her kind of biting her lip and fidgeting around, and eventually she looks up and she's like, Winslow, get your ass down here! And it takes a couple seconds, and you see the half-elf sort of poke his head over the staircase. He's like, what do you want? He's like, and Ear says, can I trust you to find somebody to fix our cart? And he says, are you seriously afraid I'm gonna make a beeline in the nothingness that is the savannah?
yes.
What, you want someone to come with me then? Do I need a babysitter?
I need to find a new shield. I don't know about you guys.
I could always use some more food.
Yeah, see, everyone's super busy here, so I guess you're just gonna have to trust
Try
me on
again.
this. What?
Try again.
Everyone's super busy. Ears.
So I guess you're just gonna have to suck it up and trust I'm not gonna your monster card.
Run away.
Yeah, that. And Ears takes a deep sigh and she's like, okay, fine. I guess that's... I did promise you guys should check out the city if we did make it here in one piece. Okay, end up putting that other seed. Who has that right now?
Which one?
Well, gee, Kennam, could it possibly be the grapefruit-sized green thing that I've never seen?
We've also never seen the saplings, so...
Yeah, that's already downstairs. I'm not super concerned about that.
Okay. And then he looks over at Lannon.
Lannon's just standing there whistling.
I feel like you'd be able to just look at Lannon and see it.
Yeah, it's just glowing in his pocket.
What?
Okay, so Lannon, are you gonna give it to Ears then?
Fine.
Mother.
What are you seriously gonna do with it, Lannon? That's a literal question. That's not me being rhetorical. What were you going to do?
I think he was going to eat it.
No.
He's totally gonna eat it.
I have some alchemy things I wanted to do.
Oh my god, no, give it to me now. I'm putting a stop to that right here, right now.
Fine.
And once
Killjoy.
you behave, maybe she'll give it back.
No.
Oh, never mind.
Lannon just takes it out of his pocket, hands it over, and says, Killjoy.
Rolls her eyes. And she kind of takes a minute and looks the seed over, and she looks over at you, Lobe, and she says, so he was really serious about that whole peace thing, huh?
Well, yes, peace is good.
Yes, he was.
Yeah.
And I can understand why. It's very important.
Yeah, nobody wants to drift around here forever, I guess.
No.
And, she... Something about her expression is almost sympathetic, which is something you don't see too often from Ears.
Sympathy? Yeah, I wouldn't assume so.
I ain't asking.
No. And, she shakes her head and she says, okay, guess when I'm done with the whole leader thing, and I make sure Winslow didn't, Shanghai our cart, and you hear from upstairs, seriously know where to go with this. And she continues to say, I guess I'll start reading because this adventure may have gotten a lot more complicated than I thought. Don't worry too much about it. I'm sure I can figure this out. You guys just enjoy the city, okay?
Done and done. Lannon runs out of the cart.
Okay.
We're not even there yet. Calm down.
Lannon is picking up speed.
Okay.
He's just running alongside the horses.